Hello, I've got a couple of jobs on today. One of them is sowing all the seeds in my miniature veg plot at the back of the garage. But this video is going to be all about homemade nettle plant food, and I'm going to be making it in this blue pail, which you can see I've positioned in the far corner of the compound at the back of the garage. And there's a reason why I've positioned it very remote from the house, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. But for now, let's go and find the nettles. Now, I'm quite relaxed about allowing or even cultivating a small patch of nettles in my garden because they are useful in so many ways. And happily, over here in the far corner, just beyond where I've sown the wildflower meadow, I have a lovely little patch of native nettles. And I suppose a lot of gardeners might panic when they see a patch of nettles appear in the garden because they can be quite invasive, but not me. I encourage them. Not only can they be used to make wonderful liquid plant food, the tips can be used to make tea, and the leaves can be eaten in the same way that you can eat spinach, and they've got all the health benefits of spinach as well. So I'm going to allow this small patch of nettles in the far corner of my garden, and I'm going to keep it under control by pruning it periodically and regularly, making a batch of liquid nettle plant food. And all you need to do, and don't forget, wear gloves and long sleeves, is prune them off. Get as many as you possibly can. And it really couldn't be much simpler. By doing this, you're pruning it back and encouraging new growth. The nettle is also a great plant for butterflies to lay their eggs on, which is also why it's great in this wildlife corner of my garden. And you may be thinking, well, why encourage butterflies to a garden when they're going to be eating all your crops and your lettuce and your vegetables that you've just planted or sown? Well, the answer is quite simple. It's all about encouraging a whole ecosystem, a full food chain. So the eggs that these lay will be food to birds, as will the caterpillars that hatch, and eventually, probably of 1 million eggs that are laying on these nettles, you'll probably get about 3 caterpillars on your lettuces. So don't panic, have no fear. Encourage nettles. So there I have a good handful of fresh new nettles. In Roman times, these were used as an early crop because they do come along very early in the year. And actually, I did read online somewhere that Roman soldiers used to use these to warm themselves up by stinging themselves, and that encouraged the blood flow. I'm not sure I'd be keen on that idea, but if it worked for them, let them get on with it. And incidentally, there is a way of stopping a nettle sting, and that is if you find nearby a dock leaf and just rub it on. It takes away the sting. Anyway, let's take these nettles back to that pail which I showed you a moment ago. And actually, making the nettle plant food couldn't be any easier. I'm just making one batch, and it will mature in about 3 weeks, and I'll have a useful plant food in about 3 weeks' time. And over the summer, that will just get better and better. And in fact, you can top it up with more water using the same original nettles. One important point that you really must be aware of is when these start to ferment, they will smell absolutely foul, which is why I've positioned it in the very far corner of my garden. And when I say they smell foul, they really do smell really putrid. You wouldn't believe how bad the smell is that comes off these nettles. So take my advice, and if you're going to repeat this process, do it somewhere else away from your kitchen window and possibly cover it. I know of people that have actually done this in a sealed bucket so that the smell can't escape. Trust me, if you try this, you'll know exactly what I mean. So put the nettles in there, rip them up, bruise them, get a brick, damage the leaves and these fibrous stalks, which incidentally in olden days were used to make rope and string and cord. Start the process of damage and decay, and this will accelerate the nettle plant food. And you can see there, those have already gone down into a much smaller batch than they were before, but I'm going to continue bashing and bruising. And when I said to you that making liquid nettle plant food couldn't be easy, I really wasn't lying, because the only other ingredient you need is water and a bit of time. So fill the bucket up with water, and as it's filling, put the brick that you use to bash your nettles on top to weigh them down. I just put the nozzle into the water so that you can hear me speak. Whilst I talk to you about concentrations, use this as you would any other liquid plant food that you buy from the shop. Don't be tempted to overfeed. You probably only need about 1 part in 20 of the food to water. And provided that you water your plants and feed them regularly, this is probably going to last all summer long. Let it fill up to the top, as you can see here. I'm going to let this fill to overflowing, it doesn't make any difference. And then when it's full, put your lid on top. Weigh your lid down with a brick. So there you go, homemade liquid nettle plant food, rich in nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. A great all-round plant food and free from the garden. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. Please do like it if you have, and also comment below, have you ever tried this? What results did you get? And of course, if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to my channel, and see you soon.